Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boomer Bust channel, a Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry, and today recapping our Week 2 loss against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I talked about our keys to the game going into the week, and I might try to do that each week. Look, I don't have no problem putting my thoughts out there. I know a lot of people try to play on the fence so they could backtrack and do all that. I'll put my thoughts out there because I know the game and I don't really have an issue with that. So I talked about the keys to the game as far as us getting the win. And I think pretty much all of them came to pass. One of the things that I was the most disappointed in was that I said it would be important how we run on early downs, first and second down. How do we run the ball? And what happened was we kind of deviated, got a little funky, and I guarantee you once we go to the tape, we could break it down. But the first drive, we deviated, got a little funky, and got some success. And I'm sure Twitter and everybody was going crazy, whatever. But then as the game goes on, the defense for Tampa adjusted to it, and we weren't able to replicate it. And I keep telling you, it doesn't matter what you do, it's how you do it. And that is a microcosm right there. So what we were able to do on the first drive wasn't an indication of what we're going to do this whole game. But because we had early success on passing downs, and I don't know that this is true, but it felt like Gatsby and the offensive staff was like, okay, let's just keep doing that. And we passed on first down most of this game. And I thought it was such a mistake because, again, the reason I brought up our early downs is because that has been our biggest problem with Justin Fields, whether it's with this group or the previous regime. You get him in third and long all the time, and it's not just him, it's any team. You get a quarterback in third and long all the time, that's going to be an issue, especially one that does not have the ability and the habits to deliver the type of passing game that you see from some of the top quarterbacks. So once we got into a rhythm where we're passing on first down, we're not good at it, we're not executing. Now it's 2nd and 10 already. We got no yards. So even if we run the ball, let's say we get 3 yards on second down. That doesn't do much because it's 3rd and 7. But if you get 3 yards after you got 4 yards on first down, now you're in a different position. And this is kind of very basic, fundamental offensive philosophy in my mind. So the fact that we came out and kind of negated that and we continued to pass the ball, it didn't make sense to me. And so what happened was you would get nothing on first down. And then second down, you would either run the ball for a little gain or you try to do a screen once again. Didn't work. And then you're in third and long. And in third and long, nothing we did really worked. So that was one of the keys to the game that I was very disappointed in. And I don't know that that would have been the case. You know what I mean? I don't know if that would have been the case if that first drive didn't go the way it went. Because, of course, people are going to be like, that first drive is what we needed. Some people are going, I guarantee you go online, media, people are going to stick to that first drive. They're going to be like, that's what the Bears could be. I don't know that necessarily that was a good thing. I mean, I don't know. I got to watch the film, but it could be a breakdown in coverage. It could be a number of different things. But whatever it was, it dictated. To me, it felt like it dictated the rest of our game plan, and that was a mistake because we should have been running the ball on those early downs in order to get us our offense in a third down that's manageable. Because, as I keep saying, one of the biggest key indicators for any team in the offense is their third down conversion percentage. And so if you're in third and long, you're just not going to convert a lot of third downs with the type of offense we have. If you're the Chiefs, you're the Bills, you're the Chargers, people like that, yeah, you might, the Dolphins, but with our offense, we're not going to convert a lot of third downs like that. So that was one of the issues that I had. And then we talked about defensively. You look at Baker Mayfield. He's a gunslinger. Now, I didn't say my key to the game because I thought, Baker is a top tier quarterback. I said it because I know that if you give him time, he's going to put that ball all over the field any way that he can. Any quarterback with time is going to sling the ball, but Baker, is a little bit of a maverick. So that was that point. And what we saw this game was a lot more pressure packages than we saw from the previous week, which I said we were going to have to do because they know those four guys, no matter who they are, they're not going to get pressure. And the Bucs, with a rebuilt offensive line, with a new starting quarterback, with a whole different schematic scheme, I thought it was disappointing how we played on defense. And really, I think we tackled really poorly. A lot of people are going to talk about the secondary injuries. And honestly, I do think if our starters were in the secondary, wouldn't went a whole lot different. We had about one busted coverage, but the rest of it was okay because I don't think Baker's prolific. Now, if we're going against Joe Burrow or even Kirk Cousins, I would agree that backup secondary is going to tell the story of the game. But when you got a guy like Baker, it's not really the case, in my opinion. To me, he's just looking for some time in the pocket, which we gave him. And then outside of that, it's really, it's a wrap. As I said, we could have an all-star secondary. If you give a guy 6-7 seconds, it's not going to happen. But then I'm not going to say that he got to sit in the pocket like Jordan Love did. We were disruptive, but he was Baker Mayfield, and we didn't tackle well. We didn't get him on the ground for the sacks, and he was able to scramble around and do some things. So for what we were able to accomplish, or I should say for what the Bucs were able to accomplish with an offense that I think is very below average, that says a lot about our defense. And it's not all talent. Some of it is just discipline and technique and all those things. So overall, that's what I thought the game was, man. We really just didn't capitalize on a lot of things, and our defense is kind of been, or I should say our offense has been what we've kind of come to expect it to be, sadly. So, but to break it down further, go, kind of through the list, as I'm sure people want me to. You got, let's start with the defense, I guess. With the defense, the D-line, like I said, explosive. You got an offensive line for Tampa Bay that really is starting to find its way together. It's still very early on. That's a new offensive line. And we were able, off pure effort and explosion, to get a little bit of pressure and all that, but we just found ourselves out of position. You look at a couple plays, whether it was screens, whether it was jet sweeps, whether it was tosses, things like that, where they know our defense is going to explode upfield and they're going to take advantage. Obviously, they watched the tape from last week. They saw the Packers do it, and they brought that into the game plan. Even our linebackers, very aggressive, and that happens. As much as people try to talk about the run is not important, once you don't stop the run, everything becomes harder because now everybody's getting trigger happy to stop the run, and then that's when the team's able to do all these other things off of that. And so with the defense, like I said, even with if the secondary was healthy, I just personally don't believe it would have made a huge difference, as some people will try to say. A bunch of people are going to say we had Kyler Gordon, we had Eddie Jackson, we had Brisker out, and Brisker came back. But people are going to try to point to that as the reason, but I don't think that was the reason, especially because they were doing their thing early. The reason we were in this game, honestly, is because the Bucs were shooting themselves in the foot. They were not really executing like they should have. And I told you, cashing in on those red zone attempts is a huge thing. And they weren't doing that. So in my opinion, I can't sit here and say that it was purely our, injuries on defense that caused the issue. So then we go to the offensive side of the ball. Offensive line is still going to have its issues pass protecting. I'm not sure why people are down on the Bucks. I mean, most of these guys played in the Super Bowl. You get Carlton Davis healthy, and you're talking about most of your starters were the guys that won the Super Bowl. This is a Super Bowl caliber type team, or defense. So I knew that we might struggle, and they definitely put the pressure on and all those things. But we held up a little better than I thought. I'm not sure what's going on with the Bucks, but overall, to me, it really is just Justin Fields. Justin Fields, and let me walk that back because I mentioned a lot of people talk about the play calling every week, and it annoys me because people they don't even know what they mean by that. Because what does that mean when you say the play calling? And I said this last year, and nobody is able to give an answer. Are you talking about run versus pass? Are you talking about run versus pass versus play action, trick plays, whatever? Are you talking about, what do you mean when you talk about play calling? Down in distance? What? A lot of times I find that people online and casual fans are talking about the end result of the play. And I showed you on film. And I don't even need film to tell you. The end result of the play has to do with the quarterback. And yes, there's things that an offensive coordinator can do to help the quarterback. They can tell him, hey, look for this person. Or we're going to set it up so you go directly to DJ Moore. Yes, but that only takes you so far. Especially in a game like today where you have to come back. You do not get the luxury of everybody just telling you where everything's going to be at. You have to have the ability to look at it for yourself and make a decision. Last week, Justin Fields made decisions to check it down. Some of them were great decisions. Some of them he didn't have to do. He had other options. But people didn't blame Luke Getsy as if they, a play call isn't where the quarterback throws the ball. That does not make sense. But today I give some blame to the play call because first down we were passing every time, where our personnel and our matchups don't tell you to do that, and our execution doesn't tell you to do that. And so, as I said before, you want to get some success or early downs because the biggest key for you is to keep it third and short. And a lot of the things we did not help us do that. And so to me, the play calling was very atrocious today. But when I'm talking about play calling, I'm talking about the actual logistics of run versus pass, down in distance, personnel. All those things is what I really look at when I'm talking about a play call. And as far as down in distance, run versus pass, Getsy just did not call a good game to me, and it didn't help Justin Fields. Now, getting to Justin Fields, besides the play calling, Justin Fields, there was times. Now, and again, who did we play? We played the Packers, which I think is a good front. So maybe it's a wash, but they got Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary, Luke Van Ness. They got Kenny Clark. They got Wyatt. Very good front. But this team has Shaq Barrett, who led the league in sacks. You got the young end number 9. I don't remember how to pronounce his name, but you got Vita Vea. You don't have some of those other guys you used to, but you got Devontae or Levante David. You got Devin White, who are blitzers. So you got a pretty good front. So to me, I look at it and say that when you're going up against a team like this, you don't want to put your quarterback in a situation for them to tee off on him. And that is, number one, you don't want to just straight up drop back pass on first down. And number two, you don't want to get into a third and long. So I just, to me, that play calling didn't help. But also, you had plays where Justin Fields was able to have time. A lot more plays than you would have thought. And that's probably the same thing we thought for the Vikings. The Vikings carved up the Bucks. But that doesn't mean, to me, I think they're a bad defense. There's other things at play. And I think the same thing here today. They were able to get situations where Justin Fields had the time. He had the ability to look downfield, and he just did not make the play, whether it was his accuracy or his ability to read the field. And I told you, I'm a Justin Fields fan. I guess defender is the word we got to use now. And I still am. But after today, I have to say it is tough. I can't say that I switched my opinion because I said last week, he's got bad habits. It's going to take him a long time to get to the point. So what people are going to do is they're going to rewrite everything they said about Justin Fields. They're going to say he couldn't read the field in Ohio State. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sit here and act like because of what I'm seeing now that means that him coming out of college I was wrong. I don't personally think I was. I mean, I know that he had time and he had to adjust to an NFL pocket. All that's true. But I do believe that even if you got time and you're playing in a place like Ohio State, if you truly couldn't see the field, it would show up on tape. So I don't think it's inherent he can't see the field. I think his habits have devolved to the point he can't see the field. And it's going to take a lot of help to get him there. And the moments that he made big plays, for the most part, some plays he did on his own, but for the most part, the big passing plays he had were pre-scripted plays. And that happens to a lot of college quarterbacks. So it's going to take him a lot of support to get him to that point. But yeah, right now, as I said before, I think his habits have just devolved. They have completely devolved. So that's pretty much it for me. Go down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Share it around. Get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.